coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, let's rush through your phone calls for Robert David Steele, our guest, formerly with the CIA, highly recommended by Colonel Schaefer. Just to give you an idea what Schaefer thinks. Let's talk to Chip in Arkansas. You're on the air. Go ahead with a question or comment.
Well, Mr. Steele, Alex, thank you so very much for your time and even every day you do Overdrive. Here's what we got, guys. Mr. Steele, I'm curious as to what you think about mandatory vaccinations. A couple days ago, our local city here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, is requiring our students to get a mandatory chickenpox vaccination.
Well, they lie. They say it's mandatory. It's not really. They have to give you a waiver.
Well, we're looking into all that stuff because they've not contacted us per their email or phone call.
Yeah, no, they play dumb and say there isn't one in a conspiracy to lie to you. Mr. Steele, comments on mandatory vaccines.
Well, I'll tell you, this is why I'm such a believer in the truth. What we are learning now is that vaccinations, on the one hand, if they're honest vaccinations and they're properly screened and you know what's in them, they're good. They prevent disease. But what we're also learning is that Bill Gates and others are using them for eugenics purposes. We have found vaccinations, not me personally, but the many, many people that I rely on.
It's been on mainstream news. They just had a bunch of deaths in the UN shot program in Syria.
Look, vaccinations are sterilizing people in Africa and Central America, and so is Monsanto grain. Okay, by the third generation of rats eating Monsanto grain, they're sterile. So what I really believe in is that we, the people, have a right to public intelligence, which for me means decision support. It doesn't mean spying. We, the people, have a right to know what's in that vaccination. And my bottom line is there's nobody in the United States of America I trust today that will tell me what's in that vaccination.
Exactly. They don't want GMO labeling. They won't let us have it in California. So you can't know what's in your food, but the NSA is going to know what you said on the phone to your wife. I mean,
yeah, but only if they want to destroy you. Alex, the good news about NSA is it only processes 1% of what it collects. The bad news is it processes everything about Alex Jones.
Oh, I know. And then add some. Let's go to Indigo in Colorado. I guess I'm the Burning Man when it comes down to the end of the day. Indigo, you're on the air.
I agree with you guys about this Ebola false flag. My dad trains constantly for these drills in the Northeast for the imminent biological attack with hazmat suits and all that. But I was curious what your guys thought about Second Amendment false flags on the border. Like, I had this dream 7 months ago about where I was a little Latin American kid with just women and children in the compound, and there was gunfire that went off, and I ran outside. It was basically a black ops operation. It was blamed on, I just knew it was blamed on veterans because after I got shot, it zoomed out. And it was a news.
Well, that's another question. They're constantly demonizing veterans and saying they're the main terror threat. What do you think about that, Robert?
I think they are scared to death of veterans. I mean, veterans are a sacred institution in America, and they should be. The bottom line here is that, again, the U.S. government is not a monolith. 95% of it, good people trapped in a bad system. But the U.S. government is doing some very bad things at the political level. And what really troubles me is that people have forgotten their oath to the Constitution of the United States. Because we have too many people in law enforcement, as well as the military, as well as the civil service and the government, who say, I have to follow the orders of the chain of command. And what they forget is that their oath to the Constitution allows them to not only refuse to obey illegal orders, but they have a responsibility to the public to denounce the people giving those orders.
The Constitution, Bill of Rights that they swear an oath to is the chain of command. It's the top.
But they don't see it that way. Too many people are taking the easy route out and saying, I either have to obey orders or resign. And if I resign, I have to keep my mouth shut or I'll lose my security clearances and I won't get a second job. There is a third path, and that third path is be true to the Constitution.
or turn into a total tyranny. Robert David Steele, great interview. Thank you so much for the time.
My pleasure.
Tonight, 7 o'clock Central, InfoWars Nightly News.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Have you heard?
Your eyes.
Super male, and then when super female came out, tell us what happened.
After I saw such